so they are nice and even. And what this will do is it's going to let you have a real nice crisp line. You can get your center line, and this will make it just that little bit easier to judge where your ellipses are hitting and to repeat them. To get like a good ellipse in, I'm gonna pull out a guide here in software, and I don't want it to be like a super tiny angle. What? This is my like ellipse guide. Get one nice crisp ellipse in there. And I keep moving up minor axis. Get a little smaller each time I go up. You can put some more extra emphasis on the leading face of the ellipse too if you want, to give it a little more of that dimensionality. Actually doing these, I like to have it so that it's in the perspective that you're seeing it in. Like if this were a cone or a cylinder, this front face would be a little closer to you. And just as we step back along the cylinder, you can kind of see this is kind of emphasizing what that shape would actually do. And again, you don't want to necessarily use ellipse guide, or you definitely don't want to use ellipse guides when you are drawing these initially. You probably don't have ellipse guides because they're kind of not practical and a bit archaic, honestly. When you have software like this, I can get the exact degree on this ellipse. I can get it positioned and shaped, but I think this is about as small as my program likes me to run it. So you might go back in after you have done these ellipses though and say, like, well, all right, this first ellipse is, here's my minor axis, get that lined up, get my degree lined up, which is kind of how thick or thin it is, and then get it the right size, and then go back in and see like, oh, okay, that first ellipse is off, the second ellipse is way off. Maybe we'll try and keep it at least on that same kind of proportion, and then true these up. And you can just do this by eye. I can see when the ellipses are and aren't working. So that is your first half on ellipses. If you have time, it tends to be really good to do the inverse of this too, and go, or not even necessarily the inverse. You'd want to do like a 90-degree rotation on it. So you had this big corner of circle, you had your channel for your ellipse, and then do your ellipses at the kind of opposite arm motion. So 7 is your minor and major axis, or kind of angles. Or degrees. And this is draw a horizon line. I'm going to have a very gentle curve going both ways, and then have that true vertical line. I'm just going to pull out rulers again because I'm not good at this on a digital medium. and it's not going to translate this exercise well if they're really off. So on this, as you get closer to your horizon, your ellipse angles are going to get a lot tighter, or your degrees on your ellipses are going to get a lot tighter. And what that means is that an ellipse down here is going to be almost flat, and an ellipse up here is going to be a lot closer to a circle. And how you do that is just step through. Kind of picture that slinky idea. Where it is kind of gradually turning towards you. And you'll see of how your hand, like what part of ellipses you need to work on. Like I have an issue over on this side where I tend to go in too gradually on the top side and then try and compensate and get down. And then on the right hand side, it's kind of that same idea. And then on the bottom, you're going to draw the same set of ellipses. You get that degree kind of turning over, getting thicker and thicker as it goes around. And like this would be your leading edge on each of these is this one that's closest to camera. Did I skip one? Yeah, I did. Right there. And on this same page, you can do the cube. And this is a another good exercise is just drawing cubes. Freehand sketch them. Look for the most frontward facing, like the least deformed surface on the cube. Like this cube is slightly skewed. This would have been, this back right surface would have been the least deformed. But so I've got this cube. I want to draw ellipses on it. These two faces are my least deformed faces for an ellipse. So I know I want this to touch about there, there, and there, and there. So I'm gonna get this sketched on. It's a pretty good ellipse. And it's going to be kind of projecting through to this front face. And once you've done this several times and kind of know how ellipses work out, especially in perspective, it's going to be a lot easier to judge this. So there is like the first cylinder on this. And we're going to do one of these for each face. So we're going to do this side face too, and this back face. Let's see, there's the bottom, there's this back face, and then the top, and the bottom. What you're going to see is when you do this right, you're going to get a sphere in perspective that's built out there. So this is the XYZ ellipse sphere. And yeah, you can fit all of these on 7 pages of warm-ups. Start out with your lines. You're going to go over each line 8 times. You're going to do 8 sets of parallel lines, the 2-inch, the half page, the full page. You're going to repeat that process with arcs, 8 parallel arcs, 2-inch, half page, full page. Do a few extra sets on different angles. Do your parallel arcs, 8 sets or 8 arcs, next to each other. You want to have them as tightly packed together and as consistently curved as possible and ending on that same kind of line. Do 4 sets of waves, or do 4 sets of 8 waves, and then fill the rest of that page with a parallel wave. Do circles. Do 2 small ones. These are probably like 1-inch circles. You're going to do a row of edge to edge and then a row of center to edge. So it's going to help you kind of target the center and see that your circles are consistent more. True up your circles. You're not going to really be able to do that on your lines, especially the ones you're going over a bunch. But with circles, it's going to help. Like you can see these circles in here. If I had gone in and trued these up, taken my ellipse, or taken like a circle guide and gone in here, like this is way off an even circle. There I hit an actual even circle. Go in here, get your target. Like this big circle wasn't too bad. It's a lot better once you go and clean it up. Middle circles are progressively worse as they get smaller. So truing up helps you a lot. It's going to come in with your ellipses too. Do your 90-degree arc of a circle, come out, build 4 lines worth of ellipses. Try and keep the degree on each of the ellipses in your particular channel about the same. Make them smaller as they go back. Do your arc of ellipses as they bend towards the horizon. Do your XYZ ellipse sphere construction, and that is how you warm up your sketching skills. Do this before you draw, maybe not every time, as much as feels comfortable to you, and you will notice a major improvement quickly, and it will continue progressively as you go through. You're going to be getting cleaner and cleaner lines. You'll be more and more accurate with your efforts to actually nail the lines that you see. So give it a shot.